Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2014 movie titled Skin Trade. Please be advised that there might be spoilers ahead. In the opening scene, we are introduced to a village girl stealthily running away from her home after receiving an offer in a talent show in the city. Based on her family's financial problems, she boards a bus and heads to Phuket, Cambodia. Upon arrival, she meets a man at the bus terminal who works for the same talent agency. He hands her drinking water before escorting her to the corporate van, where his boss is already waiting. He is Janko Dragovic, a Serbian drug lord and human trafficker. Upon drinking the water, the girl starts feeling dizzy and gets unconscious. The van arrives at a warehouse and the men drag the girl inside, where there are several other men. The girl continues to weep. They take her to a room, toss her on the bed, and bind her hands and legs to the chains linked to the bed and prepare to record her. The scene shifts to Tony, a detective with the Royal Thai Police heading to a covert mission. He demonstrates his skill and bravery by infiltrating a group of human traffickers under the guise of purchasing a Thai girl. Through his undercover work, he gathers crucial information about the trafficking network, including details about the ship involved and its intended destination. It is during this investigation that Tony discovers the involvement of Viktor Dragovic, a notorious Serbian mobster known for his involvement in human trafficking, and that he is set to receive the shipment of trafficked girls at the destination. Armed with this valuable information, Tony sets out to thwart Victor's plans and rescue the victims from a fate worse than death. On the other hand, Nick Cassidy, a detective with the New York Police Department, uncovers intelligence indicating that Viktor Dragovic, the notorious Serbian mobster, is currently operating within New Jersey. Recognizing the urgency of the situation and the threat posed by Victor's criminal activities, Nick wastes no time in coordinating with his superior officer, Captain Costello. Together, Nick Cassidy and Captain Costello brief a team of police officers on the imminent threat posed by Victor. They provide crucial information about Victor's involvement in human trafficking, emphasizing his status as a major player in this nefarious enterprise on a global scale. Their briefing underscores the importance of apprehending Victor and dismantling his criminal network. As the ship transporting Victor's container nears the United States, Nick and his team make final preparations to intercept it at the dock. As the ship carrying the trafficked women reaches its destination, Victor is met with a grim discovery. The trafficked women being transported have tragically died during the journey. In a ruthless display of his character, Victor swiftly assigns blame for the tragedy. The ship's captain is singled out and held accountable for the loss of life. Victor orders the captain to be subjected to brutal interrogation methods before executing him with a gunshot to the head. When the police arrive on the scene, chaos ensues amidst the police operation, and a fierce shootout ensues between law enforcement and Victor's criminal associates. Nick finds himself in hot pursuit of Victor and his youngest son, Andrei Dragovic, as they attempt to evade capture. In a life-threatening encounter, Nick is forced to make a split-second decision to defend himself and ultimately has to fatally shoot Andrei Dragovic. Victor is eventually apprehended by the police and taken into custody. However, Victor's thirst for vengeance knows no bounds. Despite Victor's subsequent arrest, the sinister mobster orchestrates a devastating retaliation against Nick. Nick is back to his family and having a good time with his daughter, Sophia. Afterwards, he gets time for his wife, Rosa, and the two display their deep affection for one another. In the middle of the night, Nick receives a call and upon picking it he notices masked men who hits his room with an RPG. Nick's family becomes the target of Victor's vengeful scheme, resulting in the tragic deaths of Nick's wife and abduction of his daughter. The attack leaves Nick himself critically wounded by a gunshot to the back. Though critically wounded in the attack, Nick miraculously survives despite being shot in the back. This attack leaves Nick shattered and driven by a fierce desire for retribution. In the wake of the devastating attack on Nick's family, Costello and Reed, an FBI agent, pay a visit to Nick as he recuperates in the hospital. They deliver the disheartening news that Victor has managed to secure bail and has subsequently fled the United States, evading the clutches of justice. Left to grapple with his grief and a burning desire for vengeance, Nick decides to take matters into his own hands. Capitalizing on a moment of vulnerability, Nick discreetly leaves the hospital, stealing clothing and an opiate drug to aid in his quest. Determined to pursue Victor and exact his own brand of justice, Nick embarks on a perilous journey fueled by raw determination and unyielding resolve. Fueled by rage and determination, Nick takes action. He sets his sights on Victor's attorney, knowing that the key to finding Victor lies with him. Storming into the attorney's restaurant with guns blazing, Nick demands information about Victor's whereabouts, employing brute force to coerce the attorney into divulging Victor's location. With the attorney's cooperation secured, Nick learns of Victor's location and wastes no time in exacting his own brand of justice. In an act of retribution, Nick eliminates the attorney and causes chaos by detonating an explosion in the restaurant, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Meanwhile, in Cambodia, Senator Code delivers a stern warning to Viktor Dragovic, telling him of the imminent threat of arrest and extradition to the United States. He advises him to flee the country immediately to avoid arrest and extradition to the U.S., recognizing the gravity of the situation. Viktor Dragovic is aware of the imminent threat to his freedom, and he is faced with a critical decision about his next move. With time slipping away and the noose tightening around him, Viktor Dragovic resorts to desperate measures to secure his escape. In a bold move, he leverages his influence and power to blackmail Senator Code into granting him a brief reprieve, buying himself precious time to plan his getaway. As Viktor Dragovic negotiates with the senator for time to evade capture, Nick's relentless pursuit of Victor leads him to Thailand, where the mobster seeks refuge in the vast urban landscape. But as Nick closes in on his target, his actions raise concerns among U.S. authorities. Branded as unstable and unpredictable, Nick becomes a target of scrutiny, and Reed is dispatched to apprehend him under the guise of protecting public safety. In Thailand, Tony and his partner Nung are tasked with assisting in Nick's arrest. They are thrust into a perilous game of cat and mouse with Nick, their target, now on the run in the bustling streets of Thailand. However, as they approach their quarry at Suvarnabhumi Airport, chaos ensues when Nick makes a daring escape, slipping through their grasp and disappearing into the darkness. Their pursuit takes a deadly turn when Reed, corrupted by Victor's influence and bribery, seizes the opportunity to kill Nung, pinning the blame on Nick and further complicating the situation. With tensions rising and trust in short supply, Tony is torn between duty and allegiance as he races against the clock to apprehend Nick before it is too late. Tony gives chase to Nick through the bustling streets, but Nick proves elusive. Eventually, Nick makes his way to Phuket, where he seeks refuge in the neon-lit sanctuary of the nightclub. In the nightclub, he employs brutal methods to extract information from one of Viktor Dragovic's associates, uncovering the whereabouts of Victor's operations. With the information gleaned from his interrogation, Nick sets his sights on disrupting Victor's nefarious activities, determined to bring him to justice once and for all. However, as Nick's actions draw the attention of law enforcement, Tony and Reed close in on their target, converging on the nightclub. As Tony and Reed close in on the nightclub to apprehend Nick, a confrontation ensues. Nick finds himself locked in a desperate struggle with Tony, each determined to emerge victorious. In the midst of the chaos, Nick manages to overpower Tony, albeit sustaining injuries in the process. Despite his injuries, Nick seizes the opportunity and manages to slip away once more, leaving Tony and Reed in his wake, his resolve unshaken in the face of adversity. With time running out, Nick knows that he must stay one step ahead if he hopes to unravel Victor's sinister web of deceit and bring an end to his reign of terror. As Nick delves deeper into Victor's criminal network, Reed's cunning manipulation of the situation threatens to derail his pursuit of justice. Exploiting Tony's personal connections, Reed uncovers a potential informant in the form of Tony's girlfriend, Min, leveraging this newfound information to gain a strategic advantage. Meanwhile, Nick's relentless quest to locate Victor's illegitimate son, Yanko Dragovic, who manages the human trafficking operations in Southeast Asia, leads him into a deadly confrontation with Yanko's men. Gunfire echoes through the place as Nick clashes with Yanko's armed men. Nick must navigate treacherous terrain in the midst of the shootout to uncover vital clues that will lead him closer to unraveling Victor's sinister scheme. Nick's determination is tested to the limit as he races against the clock to dismantle Victor's human trafficking operation before it is too late. As the violent confrontation reaches its climax, Yanko flees the warehouse. He falls victim to his half-brothers Ivan Dragovic and Goran Dragovic's ruthless schemes, who see him as a liability to their criminal enterprise. He is killed by his half-brothers, Ivan and Goran. Meanwhile, Tony learns the devastating truth about his partner's untimely death as a result of Reed's betrayal. Tony, fueled by righteous fury, acts quickly and decisively, engaging in a fierce struggle that ends with Reed's death. With justice served for his fallen comrade, Tony's resolve is strengthened as he prepares to face the mastermind behind it all, Viktor Dragovic. Before his death, Yanko Dragovic revealed the location of his father. As the sun rises on the decisive day, Nick and Tony join forces and storm Victor's heavily fortified compound in a daring assault. As Victor's life slips away, Victor delivers a haunting revelation to Nick with his last breath, divulging that Sophia is indeed alive but has been sold into the grim world of human trafficking. As Victor succumbs to his injuries and breathes his last breath, Nick is left reeling from the weight of this revelation, consumed with guilt for failing to discover Sophia's whereabouts sooner. Nick is left with the realization that his daughter's ordeal is far from over. As the dust settles from the intense confrontation, Nick finds himself facing a new reality, one filled with the weight of unresolved questions and the fervent hope of reuniting with his daughter. Nick prepares to embark on a solitary quest to rescue Sophia from the clutches of the traffickers. With a heavy heart, he bids farewell to Tony and Nin, entrusting them with a precious photo of Sophia to safeguard until he can bring her home. Setting out on a solitary journey fueled by determination and unwavering resolve, Nick embarks on a quest to find his daughter. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.